Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Hokage. Kakashi become my younger brother and the ninja boss behind the scenes. Chapter 1. Today's weather is very good. With blue sky, white clouds, bright sunshine, and a breeze, it is a good time for camping. On the hillside grass opposite the Hokage rock, there lies a white-haired boy, with his legs crossed and a dogtail grass in his mouth. The boy's expression is very relaxed, humming a tuneless little song, looking carefree. Of course, if he didn't have a younger brother who graduated from the ninja school early, life might be more comfortable. Brother, you skipped class again. The boy with a short sword on his back and a black mask on his face stared with a pair of dead fish eyes, and his tone was not in line with his age. His silver white hair is very conspicuous. In Konohagakure, there will be no one else who can wear this hair color in the streets except the Hitoki clan. 50-50. Have you finished today's training? Did you win or lose the game with your gay friend Might Guy? And do you have a favorite girl? A series of questions made Hitoki Kakashi, who was standing behind the boy, roll his eyes, and the veins on his forehead couldn't help jumping. Hitoki Sho, instead of giving me some weird nicknames, you should think about how to get rid of your last place status and graduate from the ninja school smoothly. Hitoki Kakashi said angrily. Don't be impatient. Hitoki Sho spit out the dogtail grass in his mouth, stretched out his hand and shook it at Hitoki Kakashi. Besides, you are blocking me from the sun. Vitamin D is very important for the body, and more sun exposure is good for my development. Papa. Hitoki Kakashi slapped himself on the forehead. He was really fed up. Hitoki Sho, if you don't get up and go to school, I what? Do you still respect the elders and recognize me as your brother? Hitoki Sho pouted. Be obedient, come and lie down and rest. You have fought a lot since you were promoted to Chunin, right? You guy. Alas. Hitoki Kakashi helplessly knelt down beside Hitoki Sho, silently staring at the Hokage Yan opposite in a daze. Kakashi has great respect for his brother who was born only 5 minutes earlier than him, but he has nothing to complain about Hitoki Sho's extremely lazy personality. Hitoki Sho's talent is not inferior to his, and he has awakened a very powerful bloodline limit. But he has already graduated early and become a Chunin, while his brother Hitoki Sho is still in the 2nd grade and has not even mastered the basic 3-body technique. Brother, our Hitoki family is sparsely populated, and we have a great ninja like our father as a role model. As the sons of Konoha's White Fang, we have no reason not to work hard. Whenever Hitoki Kakashi comes to persuade Hitoki Sho, he always starts with this sentence, and family honor and personal honor are mentioned at the highest level. However, Hitoki Sho, who lives in the 21st century, doesn't care about this. Hitoki Sho can drink several bowls of those so-called poisonous chicken soup every day, and various brainwashing remarks ferment on the internet every day. For these deceptive remarks, he has long trained himself to be immune to all poisons. For Hitoki Sho, Konoha's will of fire is not as professional as some MLM organizations in the 21st century. Therefore, the so-called sense of honor and belonging are dispensable to him. As long as it does not affect his normal life, everything does not matter. In fact, if you change your lifestyle, everyone will try to break through themselves and experience a different life. Hitoki Sho, who just came to the Hokage world, had such an idea at first. The magical powers of ninjutsu, taijutsu, sealing techniques, and summoning techniques make people excited. However, in the area of innate companion magic weapon, Hitoki Sho completely pulled the crotch. I believe that many people have played the game of Honor of Kings. The auxiliary hero Ming Xian must be familiar to everyone. As long as the C position is strong enough, there is absolutely no reason to lose with a little shang tied to the chain. However, Hokage Ninja is not a game. All types of ninjas, except for the legendary ninjas of SSS level, are fragile assassins with high sensitivity and high attack, and they will die if they are not careful. Hitoki Shang is bound to Ming Xian, inheriting all his abilities and gaining the right to purchase all kinds of equipment in the King of Glory store. But then again, skill upgrades require experience, and purchasing equipment also requires money, and these two things are exactly what Hitoki Shang lacks the most now. He has studied the experience required for skill upgrades. Chakra can be used as experience for skill upgrades, but all the chakra of a genin can only fill 1/3 of the level 1 upgrade experience bar. The early upgrade of skills was relatively smooth, but as the skill level gradually increased, it was even more difficult to upgrade all 3 skills than 10 Senju Hashirama. Of course, there is always a way out. In addition to chakra, replenishing soldiers, and killing heroes can also provide Hitoki Shang with a lot of experience for skill upgrades. The so-called replenishing soldiers refers to the cannon fodder in the ninja world. Genin is considered a melee soldier and a ranged soldier, while Chunin is equivalent to a running soldier. As for heroes, they are those ninjas who have made a name for themselves in the ninja world. However, the difficulty of killing these famous elite ninjas is simply a headache. There are only 2 ways to get gold coins. The first is to automatically get 1 gold coin every day as a minimum guarantee. The second is to get it through skill experience. Each genin can provide 63 gold coins, Chunin can provide 94 gold coins, and famous ninjas can provide 300 gold coins. At first glance, Hitoki Shang seems to have a lot of room for growth, but the template he has is the revised Ming Xian. The unrevised Ming Xian has a passive control skill. Hitting the target 3 times in a row will cause a stun effect. In the world of Hokage ninja, this hard control is definitely a bug-level existence. Although the stun time is less than 1 second, for a ninja with high sensitivity and high attack, it is enough to take a life in an instant. Although the passive skill of the revised Ming Xian can attack and restore blood from a distance, the damage is insufficient, and the amount of blood restored cannot resist the opponent's attack. After all, reality is not a game. If the fatal part is injured, the blood recovery will only make the blood flow more, which is not very helpful for survival. After careful consideration, Hitoki Sho decided to choose a stable path, no longer in the limelight, but to wait for his younger brother Hitoki Kakashi to grow up and stand behind him to support him. For the possible C-position cutting support incident in the future, Hitoki Sho has also made full preparations. Famous swords, resurrection armor, golden body and other equipment are ready. If it doesn't work, he also plans to study Flying Thunder God technique hard to ensure that everything is foolproof. Brother, have you forgotten the will of fire? It was still the familiar opening line, and Hitoki Kakashi then took out the killer. Where the leaves fly, the fire. Where the leaves fly, the fire will also continue. Hitoki Sho said this sentence almost synchronously with his brother, and took out the masterpiece, Will of Fire, by 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen from behind, and shook it in front of his brother. Stupid brother, I have studied this book carefully and made annotations. Hitoki Sho did not lie, he did read this masterpiece full of slots carefully and took detailed notes. Know yourself and know your enemy, and you will win every battle. In order to avoid those chicken soup for the soul and chicken blood means, he must first understand them, and then laugh it off. After listening to so much and watching so much, there is nothing to complain about in terms of attitude. But just don't do it, just play. Are you angry? Very angry. Hitoki Kakashi's forehead was throbbing with veins at this moment, and finally he couldn't help it, and threw Will of Fire on the ground. What's the use of just watching? You should do it, you should work hard, you should let me see you full of fighting spirit. The Hitoki family has a father in his prime and a brother full of fighting spirit. It's enough. As for me, I should take a completely different path in the future. Hitoki Kakashi regretted it as soon as he asked it. He knew that the path Hitoki Shang said must be very outrageous. If you die on the battlefield, I can dig a grave for you, go to the cemetery to pay my respects, and expand the Hitoki family. Hitoki Shang counted on his fingers, and with my Grandmaster of Will of Fire, I can also get a place in the ninja school, paving the way for the next generation, and then collect their bodies for them. Hitoki Shang, you are so disappointing. Hitoki Kakashi was stunned for a long time, and finally could only use this way to express his strong dissatisfaction with Hitoki Shang. If you don't understand, don't talk nonsense. If outsiders hear it, they will think that we have become enemies. Hitoki Shang began to correct Hitoki Kakashi's thoughts. What is the Will of Fire? It is about the old leading the new, dedication and sacrifice. You sacrifice and I contribute, is that okay? You are like leaves, flying everywhere to burn yourself and provide nutrients for future branches. And me, I am the trunk. I absorb the nutrients from the roots and supply them to the leaves through my hands, so that the leaves can continue to fly after they grow up. If the leaves are not enough to burn, I will work harder to provide more. What else can I call this if not dedication? I am the real hero who stands behind you silently and constantly provides help. Children, don't talk nonsense if you don't understand. Do you understand the hardship of bearing humiliation? Hotake Zhang's words made Hotake Kakashi's face flushed red, and he was very angry. You are making a crooked argument, misinterpreting the will of fire that Hokage-sama said. Hotake Kakashi stared with dead fish eyes. We are ninjas, we should complete the tasks assigned by Hokage-sama and contribute to the prosperity and stability of Konoha. You still don't understand. Hotake Shang shook his head. The prosperity and stability of the village, such a heavy burden should not be placed on children, especially on a 6-year-old kid. After saying that, he turned over and rubbed Hotake Kakashi's silver hair. Have you ever experienced the childhood that a normal child should have? Hotake Kakashi wanted to refute, but in the end he could only say one sentence, aren't you also a 6-year-old kid? You were born 5 minutes earlier than me, but you use your brother's identity to teach me a lesson all day long. Even if you were born 5 minutes earlier, you're still your brother. Hotake Shang patted his butt and stood up, looking at the Hokage rock in the distance. There are many things you don't need to understand now, you just need to remember to be careful of those politicians who wander between light and darkness, they often make you bleed and cry. Hotake Shang looked back at Hotake Kakashi who was silent with his head down, knowing that he had won the mouth-to-mouth battle, again this time. However, Hotake Kakashi has always been resilient and smart. He soon stopped discussing life principles with Hotake Shang, and started directly from the matter of skipping classes. I don't want to hear your excuses, but it's a fact that you skipped classes. You must come back to school with me, otherwise. What else? Hotake Sho smiled. Secretly telling tales is not the style of the second son of the Hotake family. How about we do it the same way as before and decide the winner by duel? Okay. Hotake Kakashi's eyes lit up and he immediately became energetic. He usually suffered a lot of losses at the hands of Hotake Sho, and he thought he could make up for it this time. But I have to set the rules today. Hotake Kakashi narrowed his eyes and decided to take the initiative. 50-50, don't be ungrateful. Hotake Sho is not stupid, and his reasons for refusing are very sufficient. You begged me, so the rules must be set by me. But every time you play either rock paper scissors or hide and seek, don't use these childish tricks, okay? Hotake Kakashi was a little embarrassed. Brother, I'm a chunin now. If others knew that I was still playing this kind of game with my brother. Okay, I'll take care of you this time. After all, you're a chunin and know how to save face. Hotake Sho smiled. How about we play guessing odds and evens? It's like this again. Although Hotake Kakashi said he disliked it, his expression revealed his interest. Then let's make an exception this time. Of course, only this time. Hotake Sho knew Hotake Kakashi at this time very well. Kakashi was the kind of person who wanted to play but didn't dare to play. He wanted to experience the fun of childhood, but was afraid that others would say he was childish. He wanted to relax, but was worried that others would say he was obsessed with playing and damaging the family's reputation. But with Hotake Sho as an exception, Kakashi had an excuse. Although he could only indulge himself occasionally, it brought Kakashi many wonderful memories in his short 6 years of life. Come on, my stupid brother, guess whether the stone in my hand is single or double. Double. No, single. As Hotake Kakashi's voice fell, Hotake Sho spread out his palm, and 3 small stones lay quietly in it. I won, I finally beat you once, brother. You are so happy just because you won once. Hotake Sho stretched out his hand and rubbed Kakashi's silver hair into a bird's nest. Since you lost, brother will reluctantly go to the ninja school to attend classes. Kakashi was not angry about Hotake Sho's behavior of messing up his hairstyle, but enjoyed it very much. He had just returned from the mission, and the coldness and bloody smell in his heart disappeared without a trace, as if only Hotake Sho could cleanse his soul and let him find the innocence that was gradually lost. Hotake Kakashi secretly glanced at Hotake Sho beside him and found that his dead fish eyes were full of dependence. He knew very well that there must be a reason behind the fact that he had just returned from completing the mission and encountered Hotake Shang skipping classes. On the way back to the ninja school, Hotake Kakashi looked at Hotake Shang from time to time, as if he had something to say. Hotake Kakashi, just ask whatever you want to ask. As your brother, I am happy to help you answer it. Hatake Shang saw what Hatake Kakashi was thinking, smiled heartily, and put his hand on his shoulder. Humph, he is only 5 minutes older than me. Hatake Kakashi muttered in a low voice, but still expressed his doubts. Shang, you have a strong talent, why do you always? He paused. I don't believe the reasons you gave before, just tell me the truth. Because I'm lazy. Hatake Shang answered directly. You actually admitted it so directly. Hatake Kakashi muttered in his heart, his dead fish eyes rolled up, and his face was full of depression. You can't just eat and wait for death for the rest of your life, can you? He felt that his brother could still be saved. With your talent and intelligence, if you work a little harder, graduating from the ninja school normally is not a problem at all. Yes, I think so too, and I have a perfect plan. Hatake Shou nodded and said, I am 6 years old this year, and I plan to master the body replacement technique first, after all, it is a life-saving ninjutsu. Next year, I plan to master the clone technique. If I work harder, maybe I can learn multiple shadow clone techniques like you, which is a good tool for being lazy. By the year after next, I should be able to master the transformation technique, so that I can meet the basic requirements for graduating from the ninja school, and there will be no problem graduating smoothly. Hatake Kakashi was speechless after hearing Hatake Shou's academic plan. How lazy does a person have to be to only learn one basic ninjutsu a year? What do you think, Hatake Kakashi? Isn't my plan great? It doesn't delay my childhood fun, and it doesn't affect graduation. How perfect, Hatake Shou said proudly. Regarding Hatake Zhang's remarks like seeking credit, Hatake Kakashi did not want to make any comments, shook his head, and then said seriously, Shang, I know you didn't take what I said before to heart, but you know, the ninja world is not peaceful recently. He looked at Hatake Shang, who looked indifferent, sighed and continued, I know you don't want to get involved in fighting too early, but in an emergency during wartime, students of ninja schools will graduate early, whether voluntarily or forcibly, they will be sent to the battlefield. At this point, Hatake Kakashi put one hand on Hatake Zhang's hand around his shoulder, and the palm holding Hatake Zhang's right hand could not help but increase some strength. On the battlefield, your father and I may not be in the same team, and you may. Thinking of the terrible scene, Hatake Kakashi's voice trembled a little. Completing the mission is the mission of the ninja, we have no chance to save you. Alas, it is indeed a very sad thing. Hatake Shang nodded, the smile on his lips disappeared, and the expression on his face became as serious as Hatake Kakashi. There are indeed many things that ninjas in the family can access, including not only ninjutsu, secret techniques, connections and political signals, but also the big and small things happening in the ninja world are difficult to hide from them. Although the specific time of many things is difficult to accurately predict, the general context can still be sorted out and prepared in advance. Although Hatake Kakashi is young, he has the support of the Hatake family behind him, and he was promoted to Chunin early. He can access too much information about the ninja world. It is normal to have an early warning of the general trend of the ninja world. In Hatake Zhang's memory, the Third Ninja World War started in Konoha 47 years. And now it is Konoha 44 years, that is to say, when Hatake Shang learns the three-body technique, he will be forced to graduate from the ninja school and sent to the battlefield. This does not affect Hatake Zhang's plan, but his concern for Hatake Kakashi cannot be ignored. Thank you, Hatake Kakashi. Hatake Shou smiled gently, and finally looked like a brother. I will pay attention, and you need to work hard too. He patted Hatake Kakashi's shoulder gently, and finally said what was in his heart. You know my special ability very well, and fighting is not my strong point, so I can only ask you to protect me. Whether this will be misunderstood, Hatake Shou really thinks so and does so. Ming Xian's hero template attributes are here. Although it can be regarded as a cheat type, Hatake Shou knows his own weight very well. Unless he can be invincible right from the start, with Hatake Shou's stubborn fighting wisdom, even if he works hard to become a first-class ninja, he is very likely to die in the fierce battles in the future. He is a bit cowardly, but there is nothing to refute. On second thought, being a male mother to assist in the back, this kind of life of winning by lying down is not without a future. You know, Konoha is a place where talents are born in large numbers. There were the Senju brothers and Uchiha Madara in the front, the Sannin and the Silver Generation headed by Hatake Sukumo in the back, and the Golden Generation headed by Namikaze Minato in the back. In the generation of Hatake Sho, there were even more stars, one after another, each with their own brilliance. Hatake Kakashi, Might Guy, Uchiha Obito, Yuhi Kurenai, Sarutobi Asuma, Morino Ibiki. What's more terrifying is that the Sannin and the ninjas below are still alive and well. If this power is used properly, the entire ninja world will tremble in 10 years. Don't forget that in the late stage, when the complete Naruto and Sasuke joined forces to fight, the above-mentioned ninjas, whether dead or alive, were the main force, and even Might Guy almost kicked them out of the finale. Is the potential enough? Absolutely enough. There are so many powerful main Cs in front of Hatake Shang. With a little cooperation, he can easily carry the whole game. So what's wrong with him being a steady support? Yes, when Hatake Shang played ranked in the 21st century, he often encountered the main C on the first floor shouting, "Come on, Xiao Shang, carry him." Although I was often pitted at that time, this is Konohagakure in the Hokage world. The strength of the main C here has been tested by blood and fire and is absolutely trustworthy. Shang, why don't you understand? Hatake Kakashi was anxious, any accidents may happen in the future. Even my father, he dare not guarantee that he can come back alive from the battlefield. Although Hatake Sho was born 5 minutes earlier than Hatake Kakashi and always considered himself his elder brother, in Kakashi's heart, Sho is the one who needs protection and care. Kakashi wants to protect Sho very much and is even willing to sacrifice his life for him, but things are unpredictable and there are always times when he can't do anything. Sho, I hope that if one day I fall in front of you, you will have enough energy to escape, instead of letting me lose my life in vain. Kakashi looked at Hatake Sho, who was about the same height as him. Promise me that you should work hard to deal with possible accidents in the future. Hatake Sho felt a little uncomfortable with the familiar dead fish eyes staring at him. This kind of sensational scene should not appear at this time. Is this considered emotional kidnapping? I try my best. He originally wanted to refuse or fool around, but seeing Kakashi's sincere eyes, Hatake Sho agreed. As soon as he finished speaking, Hatake Sho couldn't help but look up to hide his embarrassment, but the feeling of being touched still surged to the tip of his nose and spread to his eyes. Originally, he just wanted to be a lazy ninja for the rest of his life. But Kakashi's unique, mouth-to-mouth, at this time inexplicably gave Hatake Shang a shot of chicken blood. My stupid brother. After a while, Hatake Shang pulled himself out of his emotion and returned to his nature. Dao, have you always wanted to turn over and become the boss? He stretched out his hand to hold Hatake Kakashi's neck and pulled him into his arms. Oh, I was moved by what you said just now, I was just about to call you brother. Let go, I didn't. No, Hatake Shang didn't let go, who just called Shang all the time, who just cursed people without respect. For many things, it's better to make a decision in your heart, and you don't have to say it out. Besides, the embarrassment just now made Hatake Shang, who claimed to have lived for more than 10 years, feel embarrassed, so he naturally had to make up for it in other ways. I'm telling the truth, and you asked me to protect you. Hatake Kakashi struggled non-stop, but as a Chunin, he couldn't break free from the arms of Hatake Sho, who wasn't even a genin. I mean, as long as you're strong enough, I won't have to run away. Hatake Sho felt that he was right. If I put a chain on you and you can't do 1 against 9, then you should go back to the furnace and be retrained. After thinking for a while, he added, if I had known that when I came out of my mother's womb, I should have taken advantage of those 5 minutes to kick you back. Let go, or I'll do it. Hatake Kakashi rolled his dead fish eyes, somewhat annoyed. Yo, my brother who is 5 minutes younger than me, dares to talk back and wants to do it. Hatake Sho reached under Hatake Kakashi's armpit and started to tickle him without saying anything. Ha 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 ha. Hatake Kakashi's laughter dispelled the last bit of fear the brothers had about the future, and they returned to their usual state while playing and fighting. Hatake Kakashi was still bullied, but he never tired of it, perfectly interpreting the role of punished bag. And Hatake Sho was not polite either, seeing that Hatake Kakashi wanted to take care of him and tolerate him, and he was even more unscrupulous in making trouble. However, the time for playing was only 3 streets away, and the gate of the ninja school soon appeared in the sight of the two brothers. "Sho, hurry up and go to school." Hatake Kakashi turned into a paralyzed face again, as if it was not him who laughed until tears just now. "Got it." Hatake Sho also returned to his serious state, "but I have to remind you, remember to call me brother when there are many people in the future, this is not negotiable." "Got it, Sho." Hatake Kakashi looked around, confirmed that there was no one around, and nodded, "Go quickly." Speaking of it, Hatake Sho, who had just walked a few steps forward, suddenly turned back and took out a picture book from his trouser pocket and handed it to Kakashi. "Take this." "What is this?" "A notebook. It's so small." Hatake Kakashi took the book, flipped through a few pages, and frowned. "Picture book? Too childish. Why, do you still want to continue your image of reading pornographic books before?" Hatake Sho glanced at him. Although gambling and drugs are incompatible with Hatake Sho, Kakashi is still young now, and aspiring young people must be cultivated from an early age, otherwise they may not be able to find a girlfriend when they are 30 years old. "Don't talk nonsense, I didn't read it." Hatake Kakashi blushed and quickly stuffed the comic book into the ninja bag. "You can't read those messy things, the 3 ninja precepts must be remembered." Hee hee. Hatake Shong sneered and turned away. He was a man who watched the end from the beginning, and the impression of His Highness Ka Huang who never put down the book was too deep. After watching Hatake Shong enter the ninja school, Hatake Kakashi's mouth corners hidden under the mask slightly raised, and then a body flicker technique ran to the corner of the street where no one was. Swish! The sound of pages turning rang out, and fairy tales with illustrations came into his eyes, and the light in his dead fish eyes became brighter and brighter. Sometimes, hiding in an ivory tower is not bad. At least when you have to face challenges, the street lights in the middle of the night can still bring a little warmth to your tired heart. However, there is not only beauty in the ivory tower, but also dirty things hidden deep inside. Hey, isn't this Hatake Sho, the eldest son of the Hatake family? He was brought to school by your genius brother again. Naiyang, you are wrong. Hatake Sho was brought to school by his brother. Yes, thanks to your reminder, I almost forgot. Shimura Naiyang echoed pretentiously. It's good to be born 5 minutes earlier, and Hatake Kakashi, the genius, can do everything for you. Shimura Naiyang took a step forward. Although he was half a head shorter than Hatake Sho, his momentum was not weak at all. Even if he looked up, his eyes still showed a rebellious look. If you didn't have the surname Hatake, with your behavior and trashiness, you should have been swept into the ordinary class and mixed with those ignorant trash. Hatake Sho is recognized as the last in the entire ninja school, but there are only a few people who dare to mock him in person. Shimura Noyu and Udatane Gokata are typical representatives. It's not surprising that these two people are so arrogant. After all, their family has not been rising for a long time and does not have much foundation, but they are backed by 2 Konoha elders, Shimura Danzo and Udatane Kaharu, so it's hard to keep a low profile. What's more, the Hatake family has a genius boy, Hatake Kakashi, who is suffocating the others. They didn't dare to make trouble for Kakashi, so they took out their anger on Hatake Sho, who was the last in the class. In the past, Hatake Sho was at most bitten by a group of little guys, and it didn't affect him much except for making a fuss. But today, he was just inspired by Kakashi's emotional roundabout strategy, and this time he wanted to try his skills. Bang! Without warning, he kicked Shimura Nayori in the chest, sending him flying 4 or 5 meters away. Although the sound was not loud and it did not hurt much, this kick undoubtedly completely ignited the anger in Shimura Nayori's heart. As an excellent student, Shimura Nayori was attacked by Hatake Shong, who was recognized as the last one. This was simply an insult and provocation. Hatake Shong, you are looking for death. Shimura Nayori roared, got up from the ground, clenched his fists and rushed over. Hatake Shong curled his lips. This kind of attack method full of loopholes, I don't know if it was because he looked down on him or because he lost his mind because of anger, in his opinion, it was similar to a fight between children. With a casual wave of his hand, the long-range attack with Chakra shot out, almost instantly crossing the distance of 4 or 5 meters between the two people, and accurately hitting Shimura Nayori's chest. Ah! Bright red blood gushed out of Shimura Nayori's big mouth with the sound of vomiting, and his body flew backwards in a bow shape, and he fell into a coma before landing. With a basic attack of 300 points plus an additional 15% of Hataki's own strength, the damage caused by this attack is comparable to that of AC level ninjutsu. Moreover, this attack is instantaneous, with a cooldown time of only 5 seconds, which is Hataki's only powerful attack method at present. What's more terrifying is that due to some special ability, this attack has become a tracking type, and no matter how you dodge, you can't avoid it. If you want to dodge, you can only use the body replacement technique or a space ninjutsu like Kamui. Even if someone sacrifices himself to block the attacked person, Hataki's passive attack will bypass the obstacle and hit the target in an extremely weird way. Some people bear the surname of a family ninja, but they don't have the bearing that a family ninja should have. I used to disdain to deal with you jumping clowns, but this doesn't mean I will always ignore you. After leaving this victory declaration, Hataki turned and walked towards the second-grade classroom, leaving a group of stunned ninja school students and Shimura Noyong, who was seriously injured and fainted on the ground. On the top floor of the Hokage building, in the Hokage office, 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen was bent over his desk, writing furiously, reviewing various reports and orders, and handling various events in and outside the village. Sarutobi Hiruzen was a competent Hokage in handling government affairs. Suddenly, he stopped the cinnabar pen in his hand, flicked the document with his fingers, and the page of the report that had been turned over returned. Hataki Shong. He whispered the name again, frowned and fell into deep thought. This report was submitted by a teacher at the ninja school, and it recorded in detail the conflict between Hataki Shong and Shimura Nayori, trying to restore the scene as much as possible and avoiding any personal emotions. The authenticity of the report is beyond doubt, and the description is quite detailed. Sarutobi Hiruzen, who had only glanced at it, took a closer look because this seemingly ordinary ninja school fight involved two famous families in Konoha, the Hataki family and the Shimura family. At first glance, it seems that there is no big problem, but if you think about it carefully, the problem behind it is complicated. If we look at the severity, Hataki shows behavior of seriously injuring Shimura Noyong as an unauthorized attack on a fellow villager, which is obviously a violation of the ninja code. The impact of this incident is very bad and must be recorded in Hataki Show's personal file. It will have some adverse effects on his promotion and assessment in the future. In addition, Shimura Danzo is likely to take this opportunity to put pressure on the Hataki family. Although it cannot cause substantial losses to the Hataki family, it may cause public opinion that is unfavorable to the Hataki family. Obviously, this is a situation that Sarutobi Hiruzen does not want to see. Hataki Sukumo, the current head of the Hataki family, is second to none in Konoha village in terms of achievements and political influence. Sarutobi Hiruzen intends to let him take over the position of 4th Hokage, and the half Hokage armband hanging on his right arm is the best proof. Although the Hataki family is weaker, it is easier to control. This makes Sarutobi Hiruzen trust him very much and regard him as his right-hand man. Sarutobi Hiruzen certainly knows that Shimura Danzo covets the position of Hokage. According to his understanding of Shimura Danzo, the other party will never miss any opportunity to weaken or attack him. Sure enough, when Sarutobi Hiruzen was thinking about how to deal with Hataki Show's serious injury to Shimura Nayori, Shimura Danzo had already opened the door of the Hokage's office and walked in with a gloomy face. Sarutobi, you must have heard about the bad incident that happened in the ninja school. Shimura Danzo said straight to the point, I want to know how you plan to deal with this matter. How to deal with it is my business. Even if you are one of the 3 advisors of Konoha, you are not qualified to interfere. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked unhappy and sighed in his heart that what he feared would come true. Sarutobi, the one who was seriously injured was a nephew of my clan, but you told me that I have no right to ask. Shimura Danzo sneered, then I came here as the head of the Shimura clan to ask for an explanation. Is there any problem with this? No problem. Sarutobi Hiruzen lit his pipe, his face so gloomy that it seemed that water could drip out. Soon, smoke filled the entire Hokage office. The two looked at each other and fell into silence. Sarutobi, a person who doesn't cherish his companions and fights with them is not worthy of being a ninja. In the end, Shimura Danzo couldn't help but speak. Well, what you said makes sense. After all, it was Shimura Noyong, not Hataki Sho, who was seriously injured. Sarutobi Hiruzen exhaled a puff of smoke, but you should read this report before you draw a conclusion. Sarutobi Hiruzen pulled out a report recording the whole conflict between the two from the pile of documents and pushed it in front of Shimura Danzo. The latter did not hesitate, picked up the report and read it, and his face became gloomy. Shimura Noyong concealed something from him, and he himself was a little anxious. He came to Sarutobi Hiruzen without investigating it clearly. The main reason was that Hitoki Shomo was really flawless in his work. It was not easy for Shimura Danzo to get a not-so-good opportunity. How could he let it go easily? Even if it didn't work, it would be good to discuss Sarutobi Hiruzen. In Shimura Danzo's opinion, the position of Hokage should have belonged to him, and Sarutobi Hiruzen was not as good as him. So what? Shimura Danzo said disdainfully. It's common for companions to quarrel, but killing each other has never happened. Isn't this enough to prove the problem? But it depends on the specific content of the quarrel. Sarutobi Hiruzen put away the report. Shimura Noyong's words seriously destroyed the balance between family ninjas and civilian ninjas. How can the word waste be used to refer to companions? Shimura Danzo paused for a moment and was about to continue, but how could Sarutobi Hiruzen give him the opportunity to continue to make use of the topic? That's the truth. There's no point in saying more. Sarutobi Hiruzen made the final decision. Shimura Noyong behaved improperly and frequently provoked Hitoki Sho. He deserved the injury this time. However, considering that he was seriously injured, the above faults will not be pursued. Although Hitoki Sho, who caused Shimura Noyong's serious injury, violated the ninja regulations, it will only be recorded in his personal ninja file because there are reasons for it. The rest of the responsibility will not be pursued. Sarutobi Hiruzen, you fool! Shimura Danzo said angrily. Call me third Hokage. Sarutobi Hiruzen slammed the table fiercely. Shimura Danzo, put yourself in your position, do your job well, and don't interfere in other things. Sarutobi Hiruzen, who is at the end of his prime, still retains some of his youthful fortitude. Although he has a tendency to be a smooth talker and a politician, he is still very tough during this period and can completely suppress Shimura Danzo. After the decision was made, Shimura Danzo could only leave in dismay and continue to lurk in the dark, waiting for the next opportunity to strike Hitoki Sukumo. After all, in order to become Hokage, in addition to overcoming the huge mountain of Sarutobi Hiruzen, Hitoki Sukumo, who is highly popular among the people, is also a strong competitor. Hokage Guard, Sarutobi Hiruzen shouted. Third Hokage. The three members of the Hokage Guard used the body flicker technique to instantly appear in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen, kneeling on one knee, waiting for orders. Go call Sukumo over and tell him I have something to talk to him about. After receiving the order, the three members of the Hokage Guard disappeared immediately, and soon found Hitoki Sukumo and informed him. Hokage-sama. Soon after, Hitoki Sukumo, wearing the Hokage armband on his left arm, knocked on the door and entered the Hokage office, respectfully saluting Sarutobi Hiruzen. Hitoki Sukumo, come and take a look at this report. Sarutobi Hiruzen raised his hand to signal Hitoki Sukumo to stand up, and then handed him the report. Hitoki Sukumo, you are my designated successor. No matter who in the village, you can't compare with your achievements and abilities. But there must be shadows under the light, and you still need to be cautious about many things. Sarutobi Hiruzen was obviously hinting to Hitoki Sukumo that Shimura Danzo was secretly plotting. I understand, I will restrain and discipline Ming and Kakashi when I go back. I am relieved that you can understand, but you also need to pay attention to other aspects. Sarutobi Hiruzen lowered his eyelids. I can still suppress Shimura Danzo now, but it is impossible to be perfect, you must understand this. Without waiting for Hitoki Sukumo to respond, Sarutobi Hiruzen waved his hand. Go ahead, I still have a lot of things to do. Remember not to be too harsh on Ming, he's a good kid. After Hitoki Sukumo walked out of the Hokage's office, he sighed, looked back at the closed door, and then used the body flicker technique to leave. The sun gradually set, and the dim light lengthened the shadows of pedestrians. Brother. Hitoki Kakashi stood at the entrance of the ninja school, and when he saw Hitoki Sho coming out, he hurried to greet him. Hitoki Kakashi, have you been waiting for a long time? Hitoki Sho smiled slightly and took Hitoki Kakashi into his arms. Good brother, I'll make you your favorite saori when I get home. Food is the only thing Hitachi is good at now. 3 years ago, because he couldn't stand Hitachi Sukumo's poor cooking, he cooked by himself. Naturally, Hitachi Kakashi also has a talent for cooking, but because of Hitachi, this talent has not yet awakened. Hitachi Kakashi, who was still struggling, heard the word, Sanma, and his eyes lit up. His struggle was weakened. I want to eat too. Hitachi Kakashi grinned and stretched out 2 fingers to shake in front of Hitachi. Can your little stomach hold it? Hitachi reached out and touched Kakashi's silver hair. If you have any left, I'll show you how I'll deal with you. How could there be any left? I like my brother's cooking the most. You look a little cute now. It seems that you are a real glutton. Don't talk nonsense, I'm not. The two talked and laughed, and soon walked to the corner of the ninja school street. Just as they were about to disappear around the corner, a soft voice came from behind. Hitachi Kakashi, show. Almost at the same time, another jealous boy's voice also sounded. Show. Hitachi and Hitachi Kakashi looked back and saw the girl with a unique purple pattern on her face. She smiled with squinting eyes and waved at the two. It was Nohara Rin. Behind Nohara Rin, a Chunobu boy wearing windproof goggles poked his head out, glanced at Kakashi with disdain, and then turned his gaze to Hitachi. It was Uchiha Obito. Uchiha Obito ignored Kakashi standing next to Hitachi, walked quickly to Hitachi, scratched his head, and smiled shyly. You look so handsome today. By the way, what moves did you use to defeat Shimura Noyu today? Uchiha Obito looked curious. This doesn't look like a move you can master. After all, you usually. Uchiha Obito. Nohara Rin pulled Uchiha Obito, and her little face was a little unhappy. Uchiha Obito immediately realized that something was wrong and showed an embarrassed expression on his face. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Haha, it's okay, the fact is just like that, I'm not a glass heart. Hitachi shook his arms, and Kakashi in his arms also shook. Besides, I have such a genius brother, I'm not worried. Hitachi Kakashi is just a cocky guy. Uchiha Obito curled his lips and tilted his head to one side. He didn't like Hitachi Kakashi very much, on the one hand because of Nohara Rin, on the other hand because of Kakashi's cold and arrogant attitude, looking disdainful of everyone. This made Uchiha Obito, who had a strong self-esteem, both envious and jealous of him, and tit for tat between the two was inevitable. Hitachi, whose grades were similar to Uchiha Obito, was regarded as a confidant by Obito, and they usually had a very good relationship. Tisk, the shame of the Uchiha family. Hitachi Kakashi naturally would not be angry in vain, and immediately retorted. Hearing the two people mocking each other, Hitachi shrugged his shoulders, then loosened his arms and let Kakashi out of his arms. Sure enough, after the obstacles were removed, the two people's repertoire after meeting each other was officially staged, bickering, quarreling, venomous tongue, and sabotaging each other. Hitachi watched all this happily and took a step back to prevent Uchiha Obito's spit from splashing on his face. Nohara Rin shook her head helplessly, walked around the two people who were arguing, and walked to Hitachi. I called you today because I heard a piece of news. Nohara Rin looked worried. Shimura Noyu's fellow tribesmen threatened to teach you a lesson because Shimura Noyu was seriously injured. Thank you, Rin. Hitachi thanked him, and then said with some confidence, Kakashi is by my side today, they dare not. Yes, but when Kakashi is not by your side, what should you do? Nohara Rin is kind-hearted and has always had a good relationship with Hitachi. At this time, she seemed a little anxious. Don't worry, Rin, those little characters will soon be quiet. Hitachi smiled. Seeing that Hitachi didn't take it to heart at all, Nohara Rin didn't say anything more. After nodding, she squeezed between Uchiha Obito and Hitachi Kakashi. You two, stop it. Nohara Rin was upset by the quarrel between the two, and her voice became louder, and she was a little angry. HMPH. Tisk. Uchiha Obito and Hitachi Kakashi turned their heads away at the same time, as if looking at each other for one more time would be an insult to themselves. Seeing that the two finally stopped arguing, Nohara Rin breathed a sigh of relief, looking quite helpless. Uchiha Obito, Hitachi Kakashi, can you please not quarrel as soon as you meet? I didn't quarrel with him, but I was annoyed by his arrogant look. Uchiha Obito glanced at Hatake Kakashi. If he had half the personality of Ming, the world would be much quieter. Hatake Kakashi, who was standing aside, did not respond, but just looked at Hatake Shang, and then rolled his eyes at Uchiha Obito. The dead fish eyes are very lethal, especially with Hatake Kakashi's cold expression and disdainful attitude. The lethality has reached a new level. What do you mean, dead fish eyes Kakashi? Uchiha Obito jumped up and pretended to go to Hatake Kakashi to quarrel again. Okay, Uchiha Obito, if you say anything about my brother again, be careful that we will team up to beat you up. Hatake Sho stood up at this time, and his words made Uchiha Obito deflated. Hatake Kakashi glanced at Hatake Sho, and the corners of his mouth under the mask couldn't help but curl up, and he secretly glanced at Uchiha Obito, and the meaning was very clear. What? Even if you are my brother, you can't treat me like this. Uchiha Obito ignored Hatake Kakashi's provocation and said a little disappointedly, Sho, I have spoken up for you a lot in school. Ha ha ha, don't care about these little things. Hatake Sho smiled, Kakashi is my brother, and you are also my good friend. It really makes me embarrassed that you two quarrel as soon as you meet. With Hatake Sho's mediation, Uchiha Obito and Hatake Kakashi finally calmed down. Nohara Lin and Hatake Sho stood side by side, with Uchiha Obito and Hatake Kakashi next to them. The four people walked slowly towards the sunset, talking and laughing. Let's separate here. I won't join you in the training later. Hatake Sho stopped at the center of a fork in the road. You know, I'm not very interested in training. It's more interesting to go home and cook for Kakashi. Hehe, I didn't plan to invite you. Nohara Lin curled her lips. You and Kakashi are really two extremes. If I hadn't known you for so long, I would have doubted whether you were brothers. That's right, Kakashi is not as likable as Naruto. Uchiha Obito echoed on the side. Hatake Sho didn't care about what the two said. He just waved his hand and said, then, see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. The four people turned around and left tacitly, each walking in different directions. Hatake Sho put his hand on Hatake Kakashi's shoulder again. Hatake Kakashi, if you want to. I don't want to. Hatake Kakashi interrupted Hatake Sho, I don't want to train with Obito, it's boring and annoying. You know, Hatake Kakashi, that's not what I meant. Hatake Sho pointed behind him, I'm talking about Nohara Rin. Hatake Kakashi hesitated, then shook his head firmly, compared to the saori cooked by my brother, she doesn't have much appeal to me. Ha 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 ha, it seems that your premature love problem has been solved. Hatake Sho patted Kakashi's shoulder with satisfaction, women are troublesome and will affect the speed of your sword drawing. When you are invincible, it's not bad to fall in love again. What about you, brother? Do you have different feelings for Nohara Rin? Faced with Hatake Kakashi's question, Hatake Sho patted his shoulder comfortingly, with a reassuring power in his voice. Nohara Rin, she's actually not as important as making saori for you. Hatake Kakashi has never seen his mother since he was a child, and his father Hatake Sukumo is often away on missions. From childhood to adulthood, Kakashi's daily life was almost taken care of by Hatake Sho. Although Hatake Sho was born only 5 minutes earlier than Kakashi, in Kakashi's heart, his status was almost as important as his father Hatake Sukumo. If Kakashi respected his father, then he was deeply dependent on Hatake Sho, filling the missing maternal love in his heart. In fact, Hatake Sho's initial wish was very simple, that is, he wanted to train Kakashi to be a partner who could fight side by side with him. However, as time went on, Kakashi's status in his heart became higher and higher, and he had long regarded Kakashi as a real brother. Hatake Sho is not a person who can adapt to a new environment quickly, because he carries the memory of his previous life, and it takes time to integrate into a new family and environment. Fortunately, reality gave him enough time. In 6 years, he completely integrated into the Hatake family and gradually adapted to the cruelty of the Hokage world. Although he has not experienced the separation of life and death, it does not prevent him from preparing for a rainy day and planning to deal with various challenges in the future. However, Hatake Sho is very clear about his position, and he will not intervene in things that cannot be changed or are beyond his ability. For example, the complicated relationship between Uchiha Obito, Nohara Rin and Kakashi. In fact, it is not particularly tragic, but fate plays tricks on people, turning the love triangle of Uchiha Madara into a bloody plot. Whether for his own sake or for future considerations, Hotake Sho is very happy to nip this love triangle in the bud in advance. As for whether it will affect the established trajectory in the future, Hotake Sho is not worried at all. Since you have come to the Hokage world, if you don't leave some traces of yourself, wouldn't it be a waste of time? Hotake Sho's preventive measures are very successful. Although Kakashi treats Nohara Rin a little differently from other girls, that's all, and there is no sign of further development. However, there are always two sides to things. Although Hotake Sho has foresight, the chain reaction brought about by the butterfly effect is beyond his expectations. Kneel down. The two brothers just returned home talking and laughing, and Hotake Sukumo, who was kneeling in the middle of the lobby, said coldly. As for the many rules of the Hokage world, Hotake Sho has learned a lot over the years. In the strict Hotake family, Hotake Sho has the final say. With a plop, Hotake Sho knelt down without saying a word, and reached out to pull Kakashi. Kakashi, you don't have to kneel. Hotake Sho glanced at Hotake Sho, knowing that he wanted to pull Kakashi to share the responsibility. Kakashi, who respected his father very much, did not refute his father's order, but he still stood in front of Hotake Sho and had no intention of leaving. The relationship between the two brothers has always been good, which makes Hotake Sho feel very relieved. But this does not mean that he will reduce the punishment for Hotake Sho. Sho, do you know why? Hotake Sho asked. Because I taught Shimura Noyong a lesson. Hotake Sho replied. Today, the usually gentle Hotake Sho suddenly became stern. The reason is actually very simple and clear, and Hotake Sho almost understood it without much thought. Are you just teaching him a lesson? You killed him. Hotake Sho said sternly. Hotake Sukumo attaches great importance to his companions, otherwise he would not have been under pressure from public opinion for rescuing his companions a year later. It was Shimura Noyu who went too far. Hotake Shong tried to explain. This is not a reason for you to attack your companions. Hotake Sukumo's expression was complicated. Since you chose to hide your talent, you should understand what you will face. Since Kakashi knew that Hotake Zhang's talent was not inferior to his, Hotake Sukumo, as a father, naturally saw it clearly. Hotake Sukumo understood Hotake Zhang's lazy performance as hiding his talent, and did not blame him too much at ordinary times. However, he got so angry today mainly because of this. Although his companions are important to Hotake Sukumo, he loves his children more. Blame Hotake Shong for Shimura Noyu. This is obviously overthinking. I can guess some of your thoughts, but the only thing you did wrong is that you didn't follow through. For a Shimura Noyu who doesn't know what he is doing, all your previous cover-ups were in vain. Hotake Sukumo is not only powerful, but also has skills and wisdom. He did this today just to take this opportunity to teach Hotake Shong a lesson. You are smarter and more stable than Kakashi, but why can't you control yourself today? Faced with Hotake Sukumo's question, Hotake Sho wanted to refute. In fact, he was just lazy, not the kind of hidden philosophy of life that Hotake Sukumo thought. But can this be admitted? Father, Shimura Noyu is not worthy, or the Shimura clan is not worthy. Hotake Sho sorted out his words and wanted to take advantage of the topic. It is obvious that someone whispered in Hotake Sukumo's ear about this matter, and there is no need to guess who it is. When father was awarded the Hokage sleeve by Hokage, I knew that there would be someone behind the scenes. Although I don't know how they will act, this incident gave me a chance to test it. Chapter 11. After all, father does things perfectly, and it is difficult for someone with ulterior motives to find a breakthrough from you. In this way, Kakashi and I become the only breakthrough. But Kakashi has graduated and become a Chunin, and I don't want him to be targeted by someone with ulterior motives when he is on a mission. Therefore, when this opportunity comes, I will naturally seize it. After a speech, Kakashi, who was standing next to Hotake Shong, trembled slightly, and Hotake Sukumo, who was kneeling opposite Hotake Shong, raised his eyebrows. Hotake Kakashi, I cooked in the kitchen, go and see. Hotake Sukumo said. Yes, father. Wait a minute. Just as Hotake Sukumo was about to let Kakashi leave, Hotake Shong reached out and grabbed Kakashi who was about to leave. Father, Kakashi already knows something. Hitachi Shong looked at Hitachi Sukumo firmly. This is good for his future growth. Hitachi Sukumo looked at the two brothers, was silent for a while, and then nodded. Forget it. Hitachi Sukumo's expression changed from serious to gentle, with a loving smile on his face. You two brothers have never let me down, and now it's time to let you understand something. But you must be hungry after school, right? Hitachi Sukumo didn't get to the point right away. I came back early today and made your favorite saori. Let's eat first, and I'll tell you in detail after we finish eating. Hitachi Sho nodded, then got up quickly and pulled Kakashi to the kitchen. Brother, I don't want to eat the food made by my father. When they arrived in the kitchen, Kakashi pouted, and my brother and father actually hid so many things from me. Not a lot, just a little bit. Hitachi Sho stretched out his index finger and thumb to gesture, and under Kakashi's helpless eyes, he picked up the food in the kitchen and walked out. After a meal, Kakashi was not happy. This was not because Hitachi Sukumo and Hitachi Sho had something to hide from him, but because he simply didn't like Hitachi Sukumo's cooking skills. Hitachi Sukumo knew this, but he didn't take it to heart. Hitachi Kakashi, what do you think a ninja should be like? Hitachi Sukumo asked. Accepting orders, executing tasks, and completing tasks. Hitachi Kakashi answered without hesitation. Yes, but that's not all about ninjas. Hitachi Sukumo nodded, then shook his head. When you reach a certain position, you will find that ninjas are not so pure. I didn't understand it before, and I always thought that completing tasks was the ultimate goal of ninjas. But after I put on the Hokage armband, I realized that ninjas are just tools to meet the needs of superiors. Kakashi's calm face was turbulent. This view completely overturned his previous cognition and made him feel unprecedented shock. I know it's too early for you, but not saying it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Hitachi Sukumo sighed. Konoha has changed now, especially in peacetime. Power struggle has become the mainstream. But the will of fire shouldn't be like this. Kakashi's voice revealed confusion. Aren't we all working hard for the village? There's nothing wrong with the will of fire, and there's nothing wrong with raising the butcher knife for the village. The problem is that there's something wrong with the people who control the will of fire. Hitachi Sukumo said it very clearly. Now many ninjas are no longer just carrying out missions, they also have more political attributes and camp divisions. One side supports the third generation, and the other side is the advisory faction headed by Shimura Danzo and 3 others. Hitachi Sukumo laughed at himself and said, I am just a target set up by the third generation to divert internal conflicts. This is impossible. Hitachi Kakashi stood up suddenly, pointing at Hitachi Sukumo with trembling fingers. Father, you can become the candidate for the next Hokage, isn't it all because of your contribution to the village? How can you say that about yourself? Don't be silly, brother. Hitachi Sho patted Hitachi Kakashi's arm. Besides, you can't point at father like this anyway. Hitachi Sho pressed Hitachi Kakashi back to the ground, and then reached out to mess up his silver hair. Stupid brother, you should not know that war is just an extension of politics, and the so-called ideas are just political correctness. It has nothing to do with who is the maker. Seeing Hitachi Kakashi fall silent again, Hitachi Sho retracted his hand. Do you know why the third Hokage chose father as the candidate for the next Hokage? Why? Hitachi Kakashi looked at Hitachi Sho. Because the Hitachi family is small, there is a clear gap between the family strength and political influence and other families in the village. But what does this have to do with my father becoming the next Hokage candidate? Hitachi Kakashi was confused for a moment. Such an obvious disadvantage is enough to show that my father became a candidate based on his own achievements. You still only see the surface. Hitachi Sho shook his head. Father's achievements are only part of it. The real reason why he became the next candidate for Hokage is because the Hitachi family is weak. Is that so, father? Hitachi Kakashi looked at Hitachi Sukumo. Indeed. Hitachi Sukumo nodded. Because the Hitachi family is weak and easier to control, I overwhelmed the Sannin and became the candidate for Hokage. But, third Hokage, why did he do this? What do you mean by target? I've said it so clearly, and you still don't understand. Hitachi Sho was a little helpless. Hitachi Kakashi's political sensitivity was really too low. Target means sacrifice. The third generation used my father as a pawn to quell the internal conflicts in the village, or the conflicts between him and Shimura Danzo. In the fight for the position of Hokage, whether my father succeeds or fails, it has no impact on the third Hokage. Hatake Sho's face darkened. If my father fails and dies, Konoha still has Sannin, who can completely carry the banner of Konoha. If my father succeeds and becomes the next Hokage, he will be restricted by the third generation because of the weak Hatake family. Hatake Sho's analysis made Hatake Kakashi completely lose himself, and he lowered his head and stood there in a daze, not knowing what he was thinking. Hatake Sho had a smile on his face, looking at Hatake Sho, his eyes full of relief. If one day he is gone, Hatake Sho can take good care of Hatake Kakashi and the entire Hatake family. But father, why did the third Hokage do this? After a while, Hatake Kakashi raised his head, with confusion and loss in his eyes. He can't do it to some people. Hatake Sukumo sighed. At the same time, he can't let go of the power in his hands. Are they the three advisors of Konoha? Hatake Kakashi seemed to suddenly understand something and asked the key point directly. Yes, they are the three advisors of Konoha. Hatake Sukumo nodded. When the third generation took over as Hokage, he did not have enough reputation among the people, and the Sarutobi clan was not strong at the time, so it was difficult to suppress internal opposition. So, Shimura Danzo, Udatain Kaharu and Mitokado Homura, who were members of the second generation Shadow Guard, were promoted by the third generation to help him control Konoha. But when the third generation took the position of Hokage and won the war, differences emerged in the village, forming a pro-war Hawk faction headed by Shimura Danzo and a pro-peace Dove faction headed by the third generation. Although the two factions were very different in strength, for some political considerations, the third generation did not purge Shimura Danzo's faction, but chose to let it go. Under such circumstances, Shimura Danzo's power has grown day by day, and he has always coveted the position of Hokage, and internal friction is inevitable. In this case, the third generation chose me to be the next Hokage candidate, in order to divert Shimura Danzo's attention. As long as I am safe, Shimura Danzo will focus on me, and will not deal with other people in Konoha for the time being, which can reduce Konoha's internal friction losses. Hatake Sukumo's words made Hatake Kakashi suddenly wake up, and his eyes lost their former brilliance and were filled with deep disappointment. He once thought that Konoha would unite under the guidance of the will of fire and fight for a better future. However, reality slapped Kakashi hard, making him understand that even towering trees have dark sides, and where the sun can't shine, there are not only shadows but also darkness. The moon is on the branches, and two small figures are sitting on the roof of the Hatake house. They are the two brothers Hatake Sho and Hatake Kakashi. One looked up at the full moon, and the other hugged his knees and looked into the distance. This harmonious scene seemed to be just missing a jar of wine. Unfortunately, the two are still children now. The three ninja rings bind them tightly. If they want to further explore the adult world, they have to wait another 12 years. Shang, after you understand the darkness hidden in the depths, why can you still? Kakashi weighed his words. It doesn't matter. It's not that it doesn't matter, but I think it's a bit unfounded to think too much. Hatake Shang retracted his gaze to the moon. It's useless to think too much until you reach that position. But, no buts, Hatake Kakashi. Hatake Shang put his hand on Kakashi's shoulder and squeezed it hard. What you have to consider now is how to protect yourself in the next mission and constantly improve your strength. I will. I'm just a little confused. Kakashi looked at Hatake Shang seriously, hoping to find the answer from his brother. Why am I so desperate to perform and complete the mission? He looked down at his hands, and his heart was filled with unprecedented disgust. These hands were stained with too much blood that should not belong to this age. I now feel that the profession of ninja is disgusting, Kakashi said. It turns people into tools without thoughts, directly or indirectly depriving others of their lives for the selfish interests of some people. Hatake Shang understood Kakashi's loss, but he did not intend to completely deny this profession. You are very similar to some people in my memory. Hatake Shang recalled his past life, like a saint, very unpleasant. Saint? Kakashi was a little confused. What does this mean? Saint means that no matter the specific situation, you are always kind and self-sacrificing. Hatake Shang spread his hands. It would be fine if the saint died by herself, but she always likes to nag before she dies, and she also wants to drag teammates to sacrifice together. Ah, Hitaki Kakashi was a little helpless. I just sighed. Saint or something has nothing to do with me. You just said that there are signs of saint. Hitaki Zhang's tone was a little heavier. Ninja is just a profession, even if most of them have become mission tools, but you can't completely deny it because of the dark side of this profession. But father has already said that Konoha village has begun to get sick. Then didn't father give up his identity as a ninja? And he has been trying to solve the current dilemma. Hitaki Shang smiled. Don't worry, Hitaki Kakashi, my father has prepared for many things, and I have also given him a trump card, which is enough for him to deal with the next crisis. Quote. Trumpet card. Hitaki Kakashi rolled his eyes. Are you hiding something from me? Just a little bit. Hitaki Shang smiled and made a hand gesture in front of Kakashi's eyes. Don't think too much now, just work hard to improve your strength and complete the task. Hitaki Shang reached out and rubbed Kakashi's silver hair. Your future path is basically paved for you. As long as you work harder, you can become the savior of Konoha. Savior. Kakashi looked up at the moon, then looked straight ahead, looking in the direction of Konoha's Hokage rock. It's really an irresistible goal. What about you, Shang? Hitaki Kakashi glanced at Hitaki Shang. I won't refuse your and my father's arrangement, but you have to reveal your future plans, right? Hitaki Shang waved his hand, and a purple-red chakra chain was tied to Hitaki Kakashi's back, piercing through his clothes and silently sinking into his body. This is... Hitaki Kakashi clenched his fist. I feel a force surging in my body. Is this the real ability you have been hiding? Yes. Hitaki Shang nodded, and then stretched out his palm. As long as this chain is tied to you, it can increase your total chakra, chakra control, body speed and reaction speed, and even significantly increase physical skills and ninjutsu. Shang, I think you are implying me. Hitaki Kakashi stared at Hitaki Shang with his white eyes. Dog chain. This is not a good word to describe this ability, right? Who cares, anyway, you just need to know that in the future, with me holding you, you can not only kill enemies above your level, but also easily break through your own limits. Hitaki Shang retracted his palm, and the purple-red chakra chain disappeared, and Hitaki Kakashi showed a little loss on his face. The power just now made him feel that he could easily defeat his past self. This way of instantly improving strength is too tempting and hard to extricate himself. Hitaki Kakashi has never stopped pursuing power. In the past, he wanted to become a great ninja like Hitaki Sukumo, and later he added the goal of protecting Hitaki Sho. After learning about the internal strife in Konoha, he had other ideas. He wanted to use the short sword in his hand to cut off the conspirators who eroded the will of fire and restore Konohagakure to its former vitality. To achieve this, one's own strength is crucial, and Hitaki Sho's special ability has become an indispensable part. At this time, Hitaki Kakashi was a little impatient. Sho, no, brother, you should apply for graduation. He reached out and grabbed Hitaki Sho's wrist. As long as the two of us brothers join forces, we can accumulate experience by completing missions and prepare for the future. Are you jealous? Hitaki Sho smiled until his eyes narrowed into a slit. I won't. I haven't had enough fun yet. Brother, I tell you, it's useless. Hitaki Sho was unmoved. You little rookie, why should I tie you up with a dog chain? There was some disdain in his eyes. If you want to tie you up, you have to tie you up with a Jonin or higher level of combat power, right? For example, my father, Sanin, or the recently famous Namikaze Minato. You guy, stop looking down on others. Hitaki Kakashi blushed. I'm no worse than them. Practices hard late at night. His elder brother, Hitaki Sho, smiles secretly under the moon. Your strength is indeed not worse than theirs, but now you are just a chunin. Hitaki Sho was a little proud. The revenge that Kakashi gave him this morning was avenged before the next day. So, you need to work hard. He patted Kakashi's shoulder hard. Become a Jonin as soon as possible, and then let me take you with me, and we will become famous in the ninja world together. By the way, we will rectify the bad atmosphere in Konoha. Just wait, brother. Hitaki Kakashi jumped down from the roof. I will become a Jonin as soon as possible. It's so late, what are you going to do? Hitaki Sho asked knowingly. Training. A hearty laugh came from behind. Hatake Kakashi clenched his teeth, and a body flicker technique disappeared. Hatake Sho lay leisurely on the roof, looking up at the full moon above his head, crossing his legs, and felt very comfortable. This kind of life is truly free and easy. The next morning, Hatake Sho yawned and pushed open the door of the Hatake family. He stayed up until 1 a.m. last night. If Hatake Sukumo hadn't urged him, he would have skipped class today. Helplessly, the attraction of the purple-red chain was too great, and any main-C who wanted to dominate could not refuse it. Although Hatake Kakashi was still in the growth stage, he wanted to show off, so he dragged Hatake Sho to be his sparring partner. Naturally, Hatake Sho only tied Hatake Kakashi with the purple-red chain, and didn't even think about other sparring projects. He also showed Kakashi the golden chain that could enhance all-round defense, but the effect was not ideal, and he was even disliked by Hatake Kakashi. This made Hatake Sho very angry, and he kept muttering in his heart, "The ninjas in the Hokage world deserve to be a group of fragile assassins, and being killed in 1 second is the lightest." Brother, Hatake Kakashi had no mission today, so he got up early in the morning to do morning exercises, and then waited for Hatake Sho at the door, intending to send his brother to school. "Don't call me brother." Hatake Sho rolled his eyes. "I'm annoyed when I see you." "Don't be like that." Hatake Kakashi came over and said flatteringly, "I think my strength is improving. It won't be long before we can join forces to make the Hatake family famous." "Don't make big promises to me, I won't buy it." Hatake Sho still had a problem with Kakashi, but he immediately had a bad idea. "If you promise me one thing, I can reluctantly agree to train with you for a while." "Brother, you say it, and I will definitely agree." Hatake Kakashi's eyes lit up immediately when he heard this, and he patted his chest loudly. "Take off your mask." As soon as Hatake Sho finished speaking, Hatake Kakashi was stunned, scratched his head, and seemed a little at a loss. "Brother, just say whether you agree or not." Hatake Sho squinted his eyes. "If you don't agree, I'll leave." After that, Hatake Sho pretended to leave. When he took 4 or 5 steps, Hatake Kakashi's slightly unconfident voice sounded behind him. "As for me, I just promised my brother." Although Hatake Sho didn't look back, the corners of his mouth were already curled up wildly. "Once you taste the sweetness, don't think about quitting it easily. Come on, come here." Hatake Sho turned around and waved at Kakashi. Kakashi was a little uneasy. He saw the malicious look in Hatake Zhang's eyes, and couldn't help but think of some past events that he didn't want to recall. Whenever Hatake Sho showed this expression, it meant that Kakashi's passion was about to begin again. Sure enough, as soon as Kakashi approached, Hatake Sho pulled off his mask, and with a sly smile, he began to styling him. The short sword behind him. "Take it off." "Ninja bag." "Confiscated it." "Coat." "Forget it, the two brothers are wearing the same." In less than 5 minutes, all the equipment on Kakashi's body was on Hatake Sho, and even the mask was put on Hatake Zhang's face. "Hatake Kakashi, do they look alike?" Hatake Sho asked happily after making a few poses. Kakashi, who had already realized the seriousness of the problem, was a little dazed. "Brother, you are not going to." He swallowed his saliva. "If father knew, I guess we would be beaten. If you don't tell me and I don't tell you, how can father know?" Hatake Sho didn't care. "Just tell me if they look alike." "How can twins not look alike?" Kakashi was a little crazy, but what if? No, what if? Hatake Sho interrupted Kakashi rudely. "We are countless times more realistic than transformation technique. As long as you smile more and roll your eyes less, who can tell the difference?" "Hey, Hatake Kakashi, today's school matters are up to you." Hatake Sho patted Kakashi's shoulder. "I'll pick you up after school in the evening, and then we'll switch back." Hatake Kakashi nodded helplessly, lowered his head and followed Hatake Sho forward. "Why are you following me?" Hatake Sho turned his head and asked. "Aren't you going to take me to school?" Kakashi's voice became louder. "That was done by my younger brother. What does it have to do with me?" Hatake Sho waved his hand in a rogue manner. "I'm going to camp. Remember to smile more, otherwise, you'll be responsible if you get caught." After saying that, Hatake Sho stretched out his hand and pinched Kakashi's little face, helping him to make a smile that was uglier than crying, and then left contentedly. Hitachi Sho already knew Kakashi's true appearance. After all, the two looked exactly the same. This was also a wish of his, but he couldn't share it with others. Having a twin brother around, plus Kakashi wearing a mask all day, it was actually like covering one's ears and stealing a bell. Sometimes Hitachi Sho couldn't figure out what this habit was. But it didn't matter. Anyway, today was another day of skipping classes. Just enjoy the joy of camping. Thinking too much would only cause trouble. In the shadow of the alley that must be passed to the ninja school, there were two ignorant children lying in ambush. Ju Rong, the ninja school is about to start, why hasn't Hitachi Sho come yet? Shimura Shundao felt a little anxious. Wait a little longer. Shimura Jiaorong seemed very patient. Although that last place student is not as late as the Uchiha family's rubbish, he has been late or even skipped classes more than once or twice. Dare to hurt Naiyang's brother like that, even if it takes forever, I will avenge Naiyang's brother. Really? A soft voice sounded behind Shimura Jiaorong. Of course, Shimura Jiaorong did not notice anything unusual. Even if I skipped class and was late today, I must stop Hitachi Shong and crush a few bones in his body. Then why not wait until school is over? The voice behind him was even colder. Jundao, you are not stupid at ordinary times, are you? Shimura Jiaorong turned around. After school, Hitachi Zhang's brother. He suddenly stopped, and a small face that was not very handsome but very cute appeared in his sight. After a short daze, Shimura Jiaorong reacted immediately. You guy. As soon as he said 4 words, a fist appeared in front of him, and then hit him heavily in the right eye socket. Seeing Shimura Jiaorong suddenly raise his head, the frost on Hitachi Kakashi's face still did not dissipate, and he kicked him again while retracting his fist. Puff! A puff of smoke filled the air, and Shimura Jiaorong, who flew backwards, turned into a wooden stake. Kakashi was not surprised by this. If he didn't have some real skills, how could Shimura Jiaorong dare to bring his peers from the Shimura clan to block Hitachi Shong on the way to school? But in Kakashi's eyes, their strength was just that. Kakashi turned around and showed his back to Shimura Jiaorong, revealing his flaws. The opportunity has come. Shimura Jiaorong, who was hiding in the dark, brightened his eyes and decided to seize this opportunity to attack. Although he vaguely felt that this was a trap, he stubbornly believed that Hitachi Shong was a waste who didn't even know the 3-body technique. This was undoubtedly humiliating himself, wasting opportunities in vain, and becoming a laughingstock of others. But Shimura didn't know that he was facing Kakashi, a genius who graduated from the ninja school early and became a chunin just 1 year after graduation. Kakashi was not a hesitant person, especially after Shimura touched his bottom line. What awaited Shimura next would be inhumane torture and a double blow to his body and mind. Bang! With a muffled sound, Hitachi Kakashi grabbed Shimura's wrist and threw him to the ground with a back throw. This is impossible, I don't believe it. Shimura, who was lying on the ground, shouted loudly, his eyes wide open, full of disbelief. He quickly stood up, but before he could stand firm, Hitachi Kakashi kicked him to the ground again. This time, Hitachi Kakashi did not stand there and look at Shimura coldly, but stepped forward, raised his right leg and stepped hard on his chest, pressing him directly to the ground, unable to move. Then, Kakashi half crouched down, and pressed his whole body weight on Shimura's chest, making it difficult for him to breathe. Kakashi blinked his dead fish eyes, and the murderous aura on his body spread, and his eyes flashed with cold light without concealment, which frightened Shimura's whole body. How is it possible? My body, can't move. Although Shimura is a member of the Shimura family, his talent is limited. Although he ranked among the top in the ninja school, he has not really experienced actual combat after all, and he can't compare with Kakashi, who has been promoted to chunin and has carried out many bloody missions. Just this bit of murderous aura made him slur his words and hallucinate. Don't kill me. Don't kill me. Shimura Jiaorong's tears and snot were streaming down his face. He had never seen such a scene before. I am a member of the Shimura clan. If you kill me, you will be in big trouble. Really? Kakashi's eyes were full of disdain. He had no intention of stopping, but instead increased the intensity of his murderous intent. Suddenly, a foul smell came from under Shimura Jiaorong's body. An unknown liquid quickly soaked his pants and spread along the cracks of the bricks on the ground. Hitachi Kakashi frowned and turned his head slightly, with more obvious disdain on his face. He had never seen someone pee his pants because of pure murderous intent. This is the caliber of Shimura clan ninjas. Hatake Kakashi sneered, grabbed Shimura Jourong's hair, pulled him up from the ground, and then threw him next to the smelly liquid. Take a good look, this is the style of Shimura clan ninjas, it's simply an insult to the profession of ninjas. Hatake Kakashi shook his head and lost interest immediately, because Shimura Jourong had been frightened by the murderous intent. This shadow will accompany him for the rest of his life. If he has a poor psychological endurance, Shimura Jourong's potential will end here. With a flying kick, Shimura Jourong was kicked over, and the powerful force made him faint instantly. Hatake Kakashi raised his foot and wiped the blood stains on his shoes on him. After doing all this, Hatake Kakashi turned around and left, and before leaving, he did not forget to clean up the traces left at the scene. Last night, Hatake Sukumo and Hatake Sho had told him about the situation inside Konoha, which made him more cautious. If Shimura bit back later, as long as there was no strong evidence pointing to Hatake Kakashi at the scene, this matter would not have a bad impact on Hatake Sukumo and the Hatake family. After all, there was no other evidence, and it was obviously not enough to prove anything with just witnesses, and it would be easier to deal with it later. Although this time it caused trouble for Hatake Sukumo again, he should not refuse. After all, Hatake Sho and Hatake Kakashi were both his own sons. Thinking of this, Hatake Kakashi put his hands behind his head, whistled, and felt happy, and continued to walk towards the ninja school. Unlike Hatake Kakashi, who encountered an emergency, Hatake Sho was calm. Hatake Sho's destination was very clear, which was the hillside opposite the Hokage rock, which was his favorite place. Not only could he overlook the scenery of the entire Konoha village on the hillside, but there were also few people coming here, so he would basically not be disturbed. By the way, except for Hatake Sho, most people in Konoha village are busy, either carrying out missions or struggling for a living, and have no time to camp. Comfortable. After arriving at this place, Hatake Sho chose a good position to lie down, and by the way, he pulled a dogtail grass and held it in his mouth. With his legs crossed and the dogtail grass in his mouth, he closed his eyes and fell asleep in a daze. Are you Kakashi? After an unknown amount of time, Hatake Sho vaguely heard someone calling his brother's name. He wanted to turn over and continue sleeping, but suddenly realized the problem. He and Hatake Kakashi had exchanged identities. Who? Climbing up from the grass, Hatake Sho clumsily took a defensive posture, but his posture was not professional at all. Well, you don't have to be nervous. A gentle male voice brought Hatake Sho back to his senses. Then, a sunny smile came into view, and a head of blonde hair was particularly dazzling in the sun. Namikaze Minato. That's fine, I'm not nervous, Hatake Sho replied. Here, I think you should like it. Hatake Sho returned to his lazy look and casually pulled 2 dogtail grasses from the ground. He held one in his mouth through the mask and handed the other to Namikaze Minato. For me, Namikaze Minato still had a smile on his face. Thank you, Sho. Hatake Sho saw Namikaze Minato took the dogtail grass and exposed his identity, and he was a little confused. How did it come out? Don't be surprised. With Kakashi's strength, he won't let me sit next to him for nearly an hour and continue to sleep. Namikaze Minato held the dogtail grass in his mouth and smiled even more, and Kakashi is not so familiar that he gave me a dogtail grass as soon as he met. Kakashi's personality is cold. Hatake Sho pouted, no longer concealed, took off the mask and sat next to Namikaze Minato. Minato Jonin knows my brother well. Not really, I just ran into him a few times when I went to the Hokage building. Then how do you know our specific personalities? Hatake Sho looked like he was going to get to the bottom of it. Hey, you don't know, do you? Namikaze Minato tilted his head. Hatake family twin brothers, one is a cool genius, the other is an optimistic loser. This is nothing new in Konoha, I know it's normal. Okay then, Hatake Sho sighed, and then turned the topic to Namikaze Minato. Namikaze Jonin, why are you there today? I accidentally passed by there when I was practicing ninjutsu, and I sat down to take a look out of curiosity. Namikaze Minato smiled. Speaking of which, the scenery there is really nice, I like it very much. It's really nice, whether you have any worries or not, it feels great to blow the wind there and look at Konoha under your feet. Hatake Shong echoed, and then asked knowingly, did you encounter difficulties in practicing ninjutsu? Namikaze Minato was stunned for a moment, then nodded. Namikaze Minato has multiple labels in the world of Hokage Ninja, Flying Thunder God, Rasengan, Uzumaki Naruto's father. Hatake Shong can't think of any other possibility that can make Namikaze Minato practice hard and fail many times and cause him to be upset, except for Flying Thunder God technique. The reason for asking this is that Hatake Shong has long had plans for Namikaze Minato. Of course, this is just a plan for the auxiliary to the powerful main C, and there is no other hidden meaning. Can you tell me about it? Hatake Shong immediately asked after seeing Namikaze Minato nod. You may not understand. Namikaze Minato scratched his head. This ninjutsu is very complicated, requires a high level of talent, and involves difficult theoretical knowledge. I don't dislike you, please don't get me wrong. Alas, this gentleness. Although Hatake Sho didn't want to admit it in his heart, Namikaze Minato left a good impression on him, both in the comics and in reality. This way of speaking and dealing with the world, regardless of age, as long as they are not enemies, makes Hatake Sho understand what personal charm is. Of course, if Namikaze Minato is not smart enough and his strength is not good enough, then he is not a charming person, but a good person who can be bullied by everyone. In this ninja world, weakness is the original sin. No matter how many excuses are found, the facts will not change. Therefore, in order to firmly grasp Namikaze Minato, the protagonist who has many outstanding performances in the finale, Hatake Sho must show his strength. I didn't misunderstand, you mean that I am not strong enough and can't help? Hatake Sho said lightly. Ha ha ha, although you were right, I still have to say sorry. Namikaze Minato reached out and patted Hatake Sho on the shoulder. I will tell you when you grow up or become a jonin, how about that? It's no big deal, Hatake Sho said lightly. This kind of trick to coax children, if it is Kakashi, he may believe it, but I won't be fooled. I'm really sorry, Sho. The smile on Namikaze Minato's face disappeared. I will keep the fact that you used Kakashi's identity to skip class as a secret for you, but I have something to do now and have to go. Angry out of shame. Not really, it's just that Namikaze Minato doesn't want to talk to Hatake Sho about Flying Thunder God technique. After all, the two met for the first time, and many things should be stopped at the right time. Minato Jonin, please wait. Hatake Sho called Namikaze Minato, who had already stood up. I know it's abrupt, but I still want to tell you something. What is it? Namikaze Minato turned around and asked. I can solve your problem. Hatake Shong said solemnly. Shong, I really have something to do, and it's not a good habit for a child to brag. How about this? Hatake Shong raised his hand, and a purple-red chakra chain flew towards Namikaze Minato. Namikaze Minato reacted quickly. Although he didn't detect any malice from Hatake Shong, he still dodged sideways the moment the purple-red chakra chain shot. Then, Hatake Zhang's mouth corners slightly raised. After the revision of Ming Xian, the main means of chaining has naturally been strengthened. At least in the case of small errors, chaining has become quite easy. Namikaze Minato thought he had avoided Hatake Zhang's attack, and was about to preach to him and leave, but he didn't expect a strange scene to happen. The purple-red chain seemed to have its own consciousness. It had already brushed past Namikaze Minato's body, but suddenly changed its trajectory in the next moment. Silently, the purple-red chakra chain penetrated his jonin vest, accurately hit his chest, and instantly merged into his flesh and blood. Namikaze Minato frowned and subconsciously reached out to grab it, but as soon as he moved, he was stunned. Ninjas, especially powerful ninjas, have a very strong control over their bodies, and the future strongman Namikaze Minato is no exception. The moment he raised his arm, he noticed the changes in his body. He was stunned for less than a second, and then he glanced at Hatake Shong standing beside him, and then calmed down and carefully felt the specific changes in his strength. Physical strength has increased by 20%, reaction speed has increased by 15%, and chakra volume has increased by 15%. Namikaze Minato calculated in his mind, and I have a hunch that the power of my physical skills and ninjutsu has also increased significantly, but the specific increase requires further testing. Looking at Hatake Shong again, Namikaze Minato showed a gentle smile on his face again. As Hitoki Shang said, he can really help me solve the problems in ninjutsu. Flying Thunder God has not been completed for 3 stages, on the one hand because the details need to be improved, and on the other hand because Namikaze Minato's own reaction speed can't keep up with the requirements after the improvement. Therefore, the seemingly insignificant 15% increase in reaction speed is crucial to him. And Hitoki Shang is the key to his breakthrough. I apologize for my previous recklessness. Namikaze Minato's attitude was very sincere. I didn't expect that you would have such ability. Indeed, I didn't expect that Minato Jonin, who has such a good reputation, would also make mistakes. Hitoki Sho said with a hint of sarcasm, after all, I'm just a poor student who skips classes all day. Namikaze Minato scratched his head a little embarrassed, but quickly adjusted. Sho, I really need you now. I know. Hitoki Sho smiled. So, shouldn't you tell me in detail about the difficulties you are facing now? Then you must promise not to reveal my ninjutsu to anyone. Namikaze Minato said seriously, although it is difficult to crack my ninjutsu, if the specific information is leaked, I will still be in danger. Don't worry, Minato Jonin, I won't do that. Hitoki Sho patted his chest. I promise you with the character of Konoha's White Fang. You are really nothing like Kakashi. Namikaze Minato smiled, and then handed Hitoki Sho a Flying Thunder God Kunai. This is the basis of Spiral Flash Super Wheel Dance Roar 3 feet, and the problem I encountered lies here. Namikaze Minato said this difficult name, which made Hitoki Sho look helpless. Sure enough, Namikaze Minato is really a genius at naming, and it's a bit cute. However, this kind of middle school naming method still makes Hitoki Sho want to complain. Too much of a mouthful. Hitoki Sho gave up the idea of complaining and shook his head. Can you put it more simply? After the second stage of Flying Thunder God was completed, there was a problem when developing the third stage of Flying Thunder God. Namikaze Minato simplified it a little, but stopped here, and then began to ask Hitoki Sho. Sho, I'll tell you the problem I encountered, then can you tell me why you are willing to help me? Hearing Namikaze Minato ask this, Hitoki Sho's heart sank. Sure enough, in the world of Hokage ninja, building trust is the most difficult thing, which has nothing to do with character setting and personality. Hitoki Sho wants Namikaze Minato to become one of his bound main Cs, but he has to spend some time to persuade him. Fortunately, he has prepared several response plans, which come in handy at this time. There is no hatred without reason, nor is there inexplicable love. Reality is different from comics or anime. Namikaze Minato is definitely not convinced by a few simple words. There are only 2 ways to impress Namikaze Minato, to persuade him with emotion or to lure him with benefits. But obviously, the latter is completely unworkable. You know, Namikaze Minato's master is Jiraiya, one of the Sannin, and Jiraiya is Sarutobi Hiruzen's apprentice. So, Namikaze Minato is naturally from Sarutobi Hiruzen's school. Therefore, Hitoki Sukumo's identity as a pre-Hokage is of no use at all, and Hitoki Sho can only choose the former method. There's nothing to hide. Hitoki Sho smiled. I just want to find a strong fighter, that's all. Sho, why do you want to go far away? Namikaze Minato tilted his head, with a smile on his face. I didn't go far away. Hitoki Sho shook his head. My father's identity is there, he can't protect me for life. But you are different, not only strong, but also promising. Although I don't want to admit that I'm worse than others, I know my character, I'm not the kind of person who can calm down and work hard. In order to have a comfortable environment after graduating from the ninja school, I must find a future team leader in advance. And Minato Jonin is the future team leader I chose. I originally planned to ask my father for help after I graduated, but I happened to meet Minato Jonin today, so I had to tell him in advance. Hitoki Sho's words were sincere, but when Namikaze Minato heard them, it still subverted his 3 views. Others are unreliable. Namikaze Minato knew this truth since he was a child, so he worked hard to improve his strength, hoping to control and change his destiny with his own strength. This reminded him of Uzumaki Kushina. She became Nine-Tails Jinchuriki since she was a child. In addition to objective reasons, it was largely because of her own lack of strength. So Namikaze Minato couldn't figure out why Hitachi Sho placed his future on others. Although it's nice to be trusted and recognized by others, it's dangerous for you to do this. Namikaze Minato said seriously, if you are not strong, and you rely on your own efforts to seek peace, your life will not be under your control. Of course I know this. Hitachi Sho replied lazily, and then made a request, Minato-Jonin, try to release murderous aura on me. Namikaze Minato was stunned by Hitachi Sho's outrageous request. He looked back and forth on Hitachi Sho's face, and nodded in agreement after confirming that the other party was not joking. Then be careful, Sho. But before releasing the murderous aura, Namikaze Minato still reminded him. Don't worry, I'm fine. But, Minato-Jonin, you should be careful too. Namikaze Minato smiled and didn't care too much, and then released the murderous intent hidden in his heart. Suddenly, Hitachi Sho felt as if an invisible big hand was pinching his neck, breathing was difficult, his whole body was shaking, and a terrible hallucination appeared in front of his eyes. Namikaze Minato's murderous aura seemed to turn into substance, covering him, making him feel that the whole world turned into cold gray, cold, lonely, and full of tyranny. Negative emotions grew in Hitachi Sho's heart. Facing the fear of death, his eyes unconsciously gushed out tears, and the scene in front of him became blurred, making him shaky. It was as if countless evil spirits crawled out of hell, stretched out their pale hands, and wanted to drag him into the abyss. Ah! A sharp cry cut through the sky. Just when Namikaze Minato felt that he had gone too far and was about to stop, a purple-red chakra chain was thrown out from Hitachi Sho's hand. This time Namikaze Minato did not dodge. But when the purple-red chakra chain touched his flesh and blood, he felt a different pain from last time, not only the burning sensation on his body, but also the trembling in his soul. This attack method is really weird. Namikaze Minato was shocked, but he did not overreact, but calmed down again to feel the damage to his body. He was not a masochist, he just wanted to experience the power of Hitachi Sho's special ability on the enemy. However, just a moment later, Namikaze Minato regretted it. Almost every moment, his body and mind were being steadily and evenly damaged in a weird way. At the same time, Namikaze Minato's chakra amount, chakra control, physical strength, and reaction speed were all weakened by percentage. Yes, it was weakened by percentage. This means that the stronger the strength, the greater the degree of weakening. Namikaze Minato also discovered that in this case, the purple-red chakra chain has a characteristic: it only weakens the attack power and reaction speed of the hostile ninja. Although it looks insignificant, the percentage reduction means a lot. Simply put, once an elite chunin is entangled by the purple-red chakra chain, his strength will be reduced to the level of an ordinary chunin, and even because of the reduced reaction speed, in some combat environments, his threat is not as good as that of an elite genin. The strength is one level higher, and the degree of reduction is almost the same because it is weakened by percentage. In other words, as long as Hitachi Sho ties the chain to the enemy, he is almost invincible in the same level, and he can easily win against a ninja 1 level higher than him. Even if it is a ninja 2 levels higher, as long as Hitachi Sho ties the chain to the opponent, even if he can't beat him, there is a high probability that he will escape. Namikaze Minato was stunned, and the look he looked at Hitachi Sho completely changed. Namikaze Minato is very clear about his physical condition. Now, let alone using the second stage of Flying Thunder God, even rubbing a Rasengan is difficult. After just 2 or 3 seconds, Namikaze Minato swallowed the blood rushing up his throat. He knew he was injured. Sho, it's okay. Namikaze Minato's voice changed a little. As a fragile assassin of the agile attack type, his body defense can only be regarded as the middle and lower level in the same level. All the high speed and high attack are exchanged for the sacrifice of defense. When Namikaze Minato put away his murderous aura, Hitachi Sho finally breathed a sigh of relief and wiped the sweat from his forehead, but did not remove the purple-red chakra chain. Just as Namikaze Minato was about to speak, he found that the purple-red chakra chain on his body had changed to a state that was favorable to him again. This change made Namikaze Minato immediately understand why Hitachi Sho asked him to release his murderous aura. Regardless of whether the opponent is a ninja in the same camp or not, as long as he has ill intentions towards Hitachi Sho, this purple-red chakra chain will automatically switch to the attack form. Under the buff state of the purple-red chakra chain, Although Namikaze Minato's injuries have not recovered, he feels that his strength has increased by at least 15%, which makes him forget the pain in his body temporarily. Hitachi Sho, the famous tale of Konoha, is really not simple. Namikaze Minato was amazed and began to have his own plans. Sho, is this your bloodline limit? After the injuries on his body stabilized, Namikaze Minato asked again. I can't say whether it is a bloodline limit, but this ability has been with me since I was sensible. Hitachi Sho replied. Sho, can you tell me the other purpose of your making friends with me? Namikaze Minato now believes Hitachi Sho's previous words, but it is impossible to trust him completely. And he keenly discovered a fatal loophole. Hitachi Sho's purple-red chain ability is unheard of, but one thing is certain, this ability is definitely far beyond any bloodline limit currently known to ninjas. Even without considering other factors, even the Uchiha, the rich family of Konoha, can only be defeated when facing Hitachi Sho's purple-red chakra chain. Namikaze Minato just felt the powerlessness when being attacked by the purple chain. It can be imagined that if the Sharingan of the Uchiha clan encounters Hitachi Sho, once it is entangled by the purple-red chain, even the Mangekyo Sharingan will degenerate into 3 Magatama. If the Sharingan has degenerated, what can the Uchiha clan still be arrogant about? The purple-red chain is so powerful, why does Hitachi Sho still need to find a long-term thug? This is obviously unreasonable. It's really worthy of Minato Jonin. Hitachi Sho, who recovered from the influence of murderous aura, returned to his previous demeanor, gave Namikaze Minato a thumbs up, and grinned with a big white fang. My ability has a fatal weakness. Hitachi Sho said frankly, whether it is a teammate or an enemy, as long as I connect them to the chain, as long as they leave my range of 15 meters, they will automatically break free. In other words, if you want to use this ability to the ultimate, whether your own speed can keep up with the enemy or teammates has become the most critical point. Ninja schools cannot teach these, and the only people you can ask for help are your own family or the genius ninjas in the village. As we all know, although my father is a very powerful ninja, his strength is mainly in lightning style and swordsmanship, and his speed is only relatively good among the same level. Minato Jonin is different. You are the speed king of the current ninja world. You have shown your edge as early as World War II. I also heard that my father said that you have mastered the powerful space ninjutsu of Flying Thunder God. Therefore, this is the real reason why I want to make friends with Minato Jonin. I want to worship you as my teacher. After Hitachi Sho finished speaking, Namikaze Minato frowned. It's not that he doesn't want to accept Hitachi Sho as his apprentice, but after accepting Hitachi Sho, the series of chain reactions triggered later will give him a headache. As an elite Jonin of Konoha, Namikaze Minato was taught by Jiraiya and was exposed to much more than other ninjas of the same level. He was well aware of the internal strife in Konoha, and as a civilian ninja, he did not want to get involved in this mess. After thinking about it, Namikaze Minato came up with an idea. Sho, I really hope you can become my disciple. Namikaze Minato smiled gently and said, your ability will be of great benefit to both me and Konoha. I see a bright future in you. However, I am not the only one who knows the Flying Thunder God technique. This technique is recorded in the sealed book of Konoha. Even if I want to teach you, I have to get the consent of the third Hokage first. So I'm sorry, I can't agree to this right away. Quote, Hitachi Sho had not expected Namikaze Minato to accept him as a disciple immediately and teach him the Flying Thunder God technique. Therefore, there was not much disappointment on his face. This calmness made Namikaze Minato, who was observing him carefully, nod secretly. A person's indifference to praise or criticism cannot fully explain his character, but this kind of temperament does indicate his extraordinary achievements in the future. Combined with Hitachi Sho's frank remarks just now, Namikaze Minato now has a good impression of him, so he softened his heart and left a way out for Hitachi Sho. It's just, I still admire you. Although we can't become master and apprentice for the time being, I can teach you some of my previous experience in improving my own speed. Namikaze Minato reached out and touched Hitachi Sho's head, with a hint of teasing on his face, but then again, you probably don't know the body flicker technique yet. Then you may not be able to use my experience. I can learn. Quote, Hitachi Sho saw an opportunity, and he couldn't keep his composure anymore, showing an excited expression. You always say you're lazy. Namikaze Minato's smile became wider. I believe it. Although I'm lazy, it's okay to work hard now. Hokage Sho began to think, I'll learn body flicker technique first, let the teacher see my talent. When I learn Flying Thunder God, I can lead the teacher to kill all the enemies. You. Namikaze Minato couldn't do anything to Hokage Sho. You work so hard now, just to be lazy in the future, right? Teacher, you really understand me. Hokage Sho smiled brightly, not embarrassed at all. Sho, I enjoy being called teacher, but I still have to remind you that I haven't agreed to accept you as my apprentice yet. Quote. Namikaze Minato stood up and patted his butt, looking ready to leave. But if you can meet my 3 conditions, I can name you to join my team when I am the leader of the Jonin. What conditions? First, complete the practice of the 3-body technique, then be able to use the body flicker technique very skillfully, and finally pass one of my tests. That's it. Well, that's it. Any questions? No problem. Hokage Sho was full of confidence. This is too easy for me. Then I'll wait and see. Namikaze Minato's last words were heard by Hokage Sho with the wind, and his figure disappeared almost instantly. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.